Winning has always been in his DNA.
Loyalty got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece got war and peace inside my
DNA.
Loyalty got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece got war and peace inside my
Winning has always been in his DNA.
Loyalty got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece got war and peace inside my
DNA.
Loyalty got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece got war and peace inside my
All right, starting lineups for Baxter Springs and now for the Cougars. Number 3, senior, 5'10", Ben Schumacher. Number 22, senior, 5'10", Cannon Miller. Number 24, junior, 6'1", Broderick Burns. Number 25, 6'3", senior, Adam Stanton. And number 42, 6'4", freshman, Caleb Dennis. All right, Brad, one game left.
Yeah.
My knees feel like I've been sitting for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, you've been suffering through a lot longer than I have, just doing the 2 varsity games.
Excited for this nightcap, though. 8:30 is true for the tip-off. Number 3, Caleb Grant for Baxter Springs. Number 5 is Logan Abbott. Opening tip won by the Cougars. Cannon Miller secures it over to Burns. Broderick Burns to Ben Schumacher on the left wing. Up top to Stanton. Burns on the right. Stanton flashes through. Cougars reset. Over to Miller on the right side. Up top to Schumacher. To Burns going baseline. Burns looks for an option back up top to Stanton for the left wing 3. Off the rim, rebound pulled down by the Lions, number 3, Grant. Grant into the corner, deflected away by Stanton.
Good hands by Stanton. Nice patience on offense. Drove in, kicked back out, got the open shot we wanted, just didn't fall.
Ball into Abbott. Abbott, the left-handed point guard. Over to Maine, number 20, Isaiah Maine, the junior. Grant pulls up from the free throw line and nails the jumper for the first points of the game for the Lions.
Yeah, nice job wide open there in the lane.
Burns to Schumacher, back to Burns, over to Stanton. To Miller on the right wing. Up top to Burns. Inside to Dennis, looks high-low for Schumacher, but too high. Not low enough.
Yeah, a little hot. Coming in a little hot on Ben's single hand there.
After the turnover, Cougars in the full court press. Grant over to number 12 in Parrish. Back to Parrish, up to Maine. Bounce pass over to Abbott. Abbott back up to number 3, Grant. Three-pointer from Maine, rims out. Grant, Dennis, nice job boxing out, but throws away the outlet pass. And you can see Caleb Dennis, the freshman, having a little bit of nerves on this home court. Good crowd tonight in this home court game for the Cougars. Abbott at the top. Over to Grant. Parrish back to Abbott. Back to Maine. Inside to the short corner for Wade. Long three-pointer is short. And Wade tries to save it, but stepped on the line. Back to the Cougars.
Cougars got to get a little bit going here now. 2 minutes in, we still have yet to score our first bucket.
Burns walks it up in the center. Over to Schumacher on the right wing. Flashes high as Stanton. Dennis to the elbow to Miller. Burns on the dribble handoff, rises up from the free throw line off the front of the rim. Rebound pulled in by Parrish, and he's able to secure it to Abbott before stepping on the line.
Once again, nice look. Just pulled up a little short on it.
Main on the left wing. Inside for Grant. Grant back to Parrish into the short corner for Wade. Abbott drives in, tries to split the double. Gets it to Wade in the short corner, reset to Abbott. Abbott all the way across for Main on the left wing. Grant at the top to Abbott. Back to Grant. Grant picks up his dribble. Parrish flashes high to receive. Over to Abbott and Main at the top. Looks in to the elbow, pass to the wing. Main now on the right side, back to Abbott at the top. Grant on the wing. Main flashes into Abbott. Abbott turns. Jump shot is too strong as Miller pulls down the rebound. Outlet to Burns, sees Schumacher ahead. Ball deflected and Schumacher can't control it.
Luckily, Baxter did touch it last.
Subs coming in the game. Burns, Miller, and Dennis check out as Marins, Nolan Stanton, and Max Long check in the game for the Cougars. Nolan Stanton inbounds to Long. Back to Stanton, over to Schumacher. Ben Schumacher at the top, being defended by Main. Bounce pass to Nolan Stanton, over to Adam Stanton at the top. Back to Nolan at the elbow. Schumacher comes through, Main tightly defending. Schumacher fighting for the ball and foul called on Main. I don't even know if I got that on camera actually as it went to the midway line. I think that they weren't going to call it a foul until it would have had to been a turnover otherwise.
Yeah, it either had to been backcourt or foul.
Schumacher at the top, over to Nolan Stanton on the wing. Cam Marins flashes through. Stanton from the elbow. Max Long backside rebound, kicks it to Nolan Stanton, thought about the three. Grant defends. Schumacher tightly defended by Main. Steps through. Schumacher with the finger roll. Max Long, another offensive rebound for the Cougars. Back up top to Adam Stanton. Drives in. Pulls up from 15. Fadeaway jumper too strong. And foul called on Max Long on the push.
Having some good looks. Max needs to look at the basket after he gets one of those rebounds and look at going right back up with it.
Grant subs out as number 24. Solinki checks in the game for the Lions. Abbott gets it over to Solinki. Ball deflected by Stanton, up ahead to Schumacher, steals up ahead to Nolan Stanton, and he puts it in for the first basket of the game for the Cougars.
Baxter got caught with a bad pass there in the transition.
Abbott gets it to Main. Marins defending all the way into Wade. Back up to Solinki, over to Abbott. Abbott thought about the three into Main. Main drives in, pulls up from 10 feet, and he nails the jumper. The Lions lead 4-2. Nolan Stanton quickly across the timeline. Over to Schumacher in the left corner. Main tightly defending. Back to Adam Stanton at the top. Over to Marins on the right wing. Schumacher flashes high. Inside to Long, in the paint. Long looks down low for Marins. Marins off the bottom of the backboard. And rebound pulled down by Parrish out into transition. Parrish gets knocked off by Long.
Looked like he had to travel there.
Gets it back to Solinki, up to Abbott. Main on the right wing. Over to number 12, Parrish. Over to Abbott. Wade across for Parrish. Off the front of the rim. Long and Marins fight for the rebound. Abbott comes away with it and draws the foul. Foul called on Nolan Stanton.
Yeah, Nolan had his left hand down while trying to block the shot, put his hand on his body, and had the other one okay, but you got to keep that hand off.
.241 on the official clock. I'm not sure when I got off there, but I must have not got the clock started on one of the breaks. So .241 on the official clock. Abbott's short on the first free throw. 5 subs in the game for the Cougars. Abbott makes the second. It's a 3-point lead. Cannon Miller bringing it down the right side into the corner for Bowen. Back up top to Burns. Inside to Dennis. Dennis goes for the high-low attempt to Perry. And turnover back to the Lions. Ball to Solanke, he's able to control it. Back to Abbott at the top. Over to Main on the right side. Main looks inside for the flash. Abbott over to, Parrish over to Abbott. Back to Solanke at the top. Abbott on the left. Baseline drive. Looks for an option. Finds Solanke for 3 from the right side. Too strong, fight for the rebound. And Abbott comes away with it. Abbott with a strong move to find space. Out to Main for 3. Rims out. Dennis gets the rebound for the Cougars. Pushing Barrett. Broderick up to Bowen, out of bounds, back to the Lions.
Timeout by the Cougars.
.148 on the official clock, get it down there, and timeout for the Cougars.
We just had the 2-point bucket with the transition bucket to Nolan Stanton off the steal from Schumacher. We just look a little tight. Our shots, we've got to get to where we're a lot more loose shooting at the beginning of the game. We seem to start out these first quarters just really tight shooting.
All right, turnover back to the Lions after the timeout. Parrish into Abbott. Over to Main on the left side, back to Abbott at the top. Parrish to Abbott. Back to Abbott, into the corner for Main. Parrish puts down the dribble, gets it back to Abbott on the left side. They're trying to find that entry to the elbow to Wade. Get it to Wade, to Solanke, all the way across. Bad pass, out of bounds back to the Cougars. Did Nolan Stanton sub back in the game for Barrett Bowen?
Yes.
Burns across to Perry, to Connor Perry, took his eye off the ball and loses it out of bounds. I believe that's the 5th passing turnover that the Cougars have had here early in the game. Abbott to Solanke, inside for Main. Main off the glass, rolls around and in. And it's 7-2, less than a minute left to play in the first quarter. Burns with the left, attack in. Patient off the front of the rim, and Parrish pulls it down. Abbott picks up his dribble, over to Solanke on the right side. Perry out to Burns, to Nolan Stanton. Burns into the paint, runner. Loose ball goes to Burns. Burns finding an angle, draws the foul, gets it off the bottom of the rim, but will go to the line to shoot 2. Isaiah Main picks up his second foul here in the first quarter. Burns good on the free throw. Main subs out as number 3, Caleb Grant, checks back in the game for the Lions. Short on the second. Parrish knocks it ahead to Abbott. Cougars in a trapping press. Ball up to Abbott. Wade inside to Parrish. Parrish rises up, gets his own rebound. Dennis there to defend and pulls down the rebound, gets it to Miller. Out to Burns. Burns not aware of the clock, and that's the first quarter horn before he can get the shot off. All right, rough first quarter for the Cougars, 7-3 after 1.
Yeah, that was much better transition there after the rebound. Burns pushing, just ran out in the time there. But that's how we've scored our other point. And then just by crashing the rebound, taking it back up, got fouled to get the free throw. But we've got to continue to crash the boards because our shooting, hopefully it'll warm up here, but we've missed several shots now, and hopefully we can get things going and start getting those to fall. That helps the rest of the offense run when you can make shots.
All right, Hunter Marsh checking in the game for the Cougars. The Lions have the arrow to start the second quarter. Ben Schumacher, Cannon Miller, Nolan Stanton, Adam Stanton, and Hunter Marsh in the game. So even though our first quarter was slow, we had all 12 players play in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, we continue to rotate.
Abbott over to Grant to start the second. Selinki on the left wing. Back up top to Grant. Lions really spacing the floor. Abbott back to Grant. Looking into Wade. Go across to Parrish.
Tough shot.
Abbott wanted the foul on the three-pointer. Didn't get it. Outlet Schumacher to Adam Stanton. Stanton puts down the pound dribble back up to Cannon for a long two. And Cannon Miller nails the jumper. Abbott picks up his dribble, throws it over the head of Selinki, and ball back to the Cougars. Lions want a timeout.
I think that was the Chuck pass.
Yeah.
Chucked it too far, though.
Thank you to Hope City Church, the game sponsor tonight. Hope City invites you to attend one of their Sunday services, 3 services at 8 a.m., 9:30, and 11:15. Go to hopeforjoplin.city to learn more. All right, after the timeout, Cougars have the ball from the turnover. Miller into Schumacher. Over to Nolan Stanton on the left wing. Back to Cannon Miller looking inside for Adam Stanton. The baby hook shot comes up short and rebound pulled down by Parrish.
Yeah, just didn't quite get a good hold on it. Looked like it kind of slipped out of his hand quickly trying to shoot it.
Abbott to Selinki inside to Wade. Back to number 3, Grant. Off the front of the rim, Adam Stanton there pulls down the tough rebound. Out to Miller. Cannon Miller pushing in. Looks for an option outlet to Nolan Stanton at the top. Cannon Miller checks back for an offensive set. Hunter Marsh clears through. Stanton comes to the top. Adam Stanton turns to face. Schumacher rolls through for the dribble handoff. Schumacher looking to go downhill. Sends it to Marsh. Back to Schumacher on the wing. Dribbles back across the middle. Handoff to Miller. Over to Schumacher. Miller cuts through. Back to Stanton. Over to Cannon Miller on the left side and gets called for the travel. Turnover back to the Lions. All right, Cougars in a full court press. Main back in the game for the Lions. Checked in for Selinki. Grant into the corner. Steps on the end line, or the sideline. Turnover back to the Cougars. So there's high intensity, great student section, really bringing the energy tonight. You can see the nerves kind of affecting both squads. Schumacher across the timeline. Grant comes to pick him up. Bounce pass over to Nolan Stanton in the corner. To Adam Stanton on the right wing. Cannon Miller. Dribble handoff denied. Adam Stanton gets to the basket with the left. And foul called on the line. Stanton will go to the line for 2 free throws.
Yeah, just couldn't get it to fall. I thought he was going to get the 3-point play there, or the chance at it anyway.
That foul was called on Logan Abbott, his first. Stanton can't get the roll on the first. Good on the second. 1 point game. Should we stop for the 6-7?
Oh, that's true. The kid, oh, there's a few of them.
Abbott ahead. Schumacher deflects. It gets to Maine. Trap comes. Nolan Stanton steals out ahead to Adam. Alley-oop to Miller. Back to Adam Stanton.
There we
and
go.
Put in for the first lead of the game for the Cougars. Abbott up ahead to Maine. Maine picks up the dribble, gets it back to Abbott. Trap comes. Maine open for three, decides not to take it. Into the paint, rises up. Marsh gets a block. Wade comes in to get a hand on it, but Adam Stanton secures it. Adam Stanton all the way to the basket, draws the foul.
And count it with the block.
And the basket. Take a look on replay as Grant tried to sneak underneath. As Stanton did a nice job going around the play. Adam Stanton makes the free throw, and it's a 4-point lead for the Cougars. Parrish, back to Abbott. Cougars pressing. Up ahead, Nolan Stanton gets a hand on it, able to save it into Schumacher. And traveling called on Schumacher. And that's when
in order to travel,
we bring up
must
this
have control of the basketball.
friendly reminder. Timeout called by the Lions. I didn't actually see what happened. Did Ben get caught trying to make a pass?
It looked like the ball got tipped and stayed in there, and so he didn't really get it put down.
All right, random inbound spot for the ref. Remember, the 28-foot line is the required inbound spot. Nolan Stanton steals the inbound pass or the entry pass, gets it to Adam. Alley-oop to Miller from Schumacher, and the Cougars extend the lead. Abbott to Maine. Maine all the way into the short corner. Marsh and Stanton defending. Maine throws up a wild shot off the backboard. Schumacher comes away with the rebound. Out to Adam Stanton. Cougars pushing. Over to Miller, has baseline. Miller with the left, puts it in for another basket. Cannon Miller now with 6 points.
Yeah, great transition there, pushing the ball up.
Grant driving in with his left, goes into Marsh and draws the foul and the basket. Take a look at replay. It looked like Marsh was there in position, gets ran into, and foul is called. Rebound is, or shot is too strong. Fight for the rebound, out of bounds to the Cougars. Yeah, it looked like that was a clean play by Marsh, took him right in the chest.
Yeah.
Schumacher over to Miller. Cannon Miller on the right side with Slinky defending. Up top for Schumacher for three. Off the front of the rim, 3 Lions go for the rebound. And Abbott pulls it down. Abbott up ahead, deflected. Schumacher to Marsh the steal. Out to Nolan Stanton. Back to Adam Stanton. Driving in. Stanton, tough finish off the glass. And it's an 8-point lead for the Cougars. Abbott over to the near side for Maine. Wild pass goes through. Slinky is able to save it. Miller gets it though. Adam Stanton up to Schumacher. Schumacher with the extension finish. And the Cougars are out running. 10-point lead for the Cougars.
Yeah, great second quarter here finally got going.
Abbott over to Slinky. Trap comes. Slinky's able to dribble through. Wild pass inside. Nobody touched. Back to the Cougars. And that's enough for the Lions to ask for a timeout. Just 2 timeouts remaining in the game for the Lions. Let's take a look at that last play on replay as Cannon Miller takes it out of the air, gets it to Adam Stanton. Stanton quickly out to Schumacher. Schumacher with the extension, no dribble finish. All right, after the turnover and the timeout, Cougars have possession. Same 5 in for the Cougars.
Yeah, I think the same 5 have played the whole second quarter now.
All right, ball into Schumacher, jogging it up. Over to Cannon Miller on the right side, up to Adam Stanton. Nolan looking in, finds Schumacher at the top. Schumacher drills in, tough pressure, finds Adam Stanton. Stanton trying to find the handle, gets it back to Schumacher at the top, over to Nolan Stanton. Adam Stanton fade away off the front of the rim. Hunter Marsh, strong rebound, and puts it back.
Good board by Hunter Marsh, way to crash. That's what I'd like to see Max Long do when he gets those offensive rebounds, is take it back up like that.
Slinky tries to split the double. Schumacher gets in there and wins the jump ball. Slinky didn't like it, but Schumacher wasn't going to back down. And ball goes back to the Cougars. Schumacher over to Adam Stanton to restart. Cannon Miller wants the 3 from the corner, and he got it.
Cannon Miller heating up.
24-9, now the lead for the Cougars. Parrish splits the double, picks up the dribble over to Slinky in the left wing. Off the front of the rim, loose ball, Hunter Marsh fights for it, knocks it back. Abbott recovers, Slinky at the top for 3. Off the front of the rim again, and fight for the ball. Nolan Stanton there to recover. Gets it to Adam. Adam pushing into the corner for Schumacher. Schumacher drives in all the way across for Nolan Stanton. Baseline drive, looking for an angle. Runner puts it in, and the Cougars are hot, 26-9. Less than a minute to play here in the first quarter. My clock is about 15 seconds off. Abbott, double team comes. Gets it over to Maine, inside to Parrish. Parrish all the way across for Slinky. 3-point shot off the front of the rim, side of the rim actually. Wade knocks it out. Slinky to Parrish from the elbow. Rims out. Parrish comes in, gets his own rebound. Back to Wade and to Abbott. 30 seconds to play.
Looks like they may be content to hold to the last shot here.
Clock is right now, 15 seconds. Slinky back up top. Schumacher goes for the steal. Schumacher finds Miller, and Miller in for the layup. 28-9. 3 seconds remaining. Maine across the timeline. Long shot at the buzzer, and that does it for the first half. What a second quarter for the Cougars to go into halftime with a 19-point lead. So really sluggish first quarter for the Cougars. A lot of passing turnovers. Cougars found their rhythm with some full court trapping pressure, causing some fast break opportunities. And the Cougars got out and really ran in that first half.
Yeah, I think that's a product of, we start off really slow a lot of quarters because, like you said, we get 12 guys in, so there's really no rhythm. And we sub in different guys different times. So it's one of those things where that quarter we actually did really well, but we did no subbing whatsoever.
Yeah, really let the rhythm, the momentum go. All right, we'll take a halftime break here. We got 7:20 left on the halftime clock. We'll send you through the first half recap and be back for the second half. All right, we're back, about ready to start the third quarter. Cougars with a flurry in the second quarter to jump out to a 19-point lead. Again, we want to thank our game sponsor tonight, Hope City Church. Hope City, located here in Joplin. You can visit them at their website, hopeforjoplin.city. They invite you to come out to their Sunday services at 8 a.m., 9:30, and 11:15.
Lions will start with the ball here, second half underway.
All right, Abbott walking it across the timeline. Burns and Dennis in the game for the Cougars as Nolan Stanton and Hunter Marsh subbed out from the halftime. Pass across, Adam Stanton steals. Behind to Miller, but Miller's able to grab it with the left and finish. And a nice start to the third quarter for the Cougars. Not what the Lions were wanting. Over to Grant on the right side, back up top to Parrish.
Yeah, we're almost playing a 4-1 zone here.
Wade in the corner, skip all the way across. Burns there to steal. Burns looks ahead for Schumacher, and Grant's there to steal it back. Grant steps through with the left, rolls around and in. Stanton out to Ben Schumacher on the left side. Schumacher looking to go baseline. Back up top to Miller. Over to Burns on the right. Stanton flashes in. Over to Schumacher on the right wing. Up top to Adam Stanton. Puts the dribble down, looks inside for Dennis. Over to Burns. Pulls up from 15. Caleb Dennis gets the rebound but gets called for the foul. And ball back to the Lions.
Yeah, that one looked less intrusive than some of the other rebounds we've seen.
Abbott across the timeline. Over to Grant. Parrish flashes high to receive at the top. Back to Grant on the right side. Back dribble. Gets it to Maine. Over to Parrish on the left. Abbott back up. Over to Parrish. Grant comes to receive the ball. Over to Abbott on the right. Grant with the dribble. Back to Abbott. Grant to Parrish on the left. Parrish jump stop in the paint, rises up. Can't get it to fall as Adam Stanton pulls down the rebound out to Burns. Burns ahead to Schumacher. Back to Burns on the run. Looks for Dennis, but throws it away to Abbott. Into the corner for Grant. Abbott drives in, kicks it back to Maine. Maine through the paint, jump stop is short. Adam Stanton comes away with the rebound. Out to Schumacher. Schumacher pushing to the left side, kicks it to Burns in the corner. And wow, there's two refs in front of him
This
to make
one,
that call.
all the way back here, called the charge. Wow.
All right, Schumacher gets credited with the offensive foul. Grant over to Parrish into the short corner for Wade. Back to Parrish. Stanton slaps down on the ball. Dennis steals. Out to Burns. Burns out running. Looks for Miller. Nice pass. And Miller finishes at the basket. Abbott back to Grant. Over to Parrish. The Lions really spread out their offense. Ball to Maine, back to Abbott. Entry in to Wade. Burns deflects, and Wade's last to touch. And the Cougars will make some subs. Burns, Dennis, and Miller take a break as Marins, Long, and Nolan Stanton check in the game. 4:40 to play here in the third quarter. Cougars with a 21-point lead. Schumacher dribbling at the top, Maine defending. Bounce pass over to Marins on the right wing. Nolan Stanton at the top, puts down the dribble. Bounce pass to Adam Stanton, deflected, he's able to get to it. Schumacher open for three, takes it from the left wing, too strong, fight for the rebound. Marins gets a hand on it, but grabs Parrish's arm in the process and gets called for the foul.
Yeah, it was a good look by Ben. Had a nice looking three again, just a little long with that one.
Logan Abbott dribbles it up with his left. Over to Main on the left wing. Back to Parrish. Stanton was reading that if he went one more. Main inside to Wade. Back up top for Grant for three. And air ball out of bounds back to the Cougars. Noah Solinki checks back in the game for Grant. I think that was a planned sub, but it's always tough after you get an air ball to get subbed out.
Yeah.
Ball into Max Long. Good post move, but too strong on the finish.
Yeah, it was a nice back down.
Main gets it back to Abbott. Over to Slinky. Parrish at the top. Slinky open for the long three, and he hits it.
Yeah, that was an NBA three-pointer there.
Stanton all the way to the basket. Wild shot, and Parrish pulls down the rebound. Over to Slinky. Back to Abbott on the skip pass. Abbott pushes in all the way to the basket, and blocking foul call on Marins.
That'll be his second.
Fourth foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Abbott's shot bounces around
Almost fell.
and falls out. Abbott makes the second free throw. Long into Adam Stanton, up head to Nolan. Nolan on the wing, back to Long. Over to Marins. Cougars moving the ball around. Adam Stanton to the top of the key, back to Marins. Over to Schumacher on the left wing. Back to Adam Stanton at the top. Over to Nolan Stanton on the right wing. Schumacher cuts through. Adam Stanton for three at the top. Off the front of the rim. Ben Schumacher pulls down the rebound and gets hacked from behind. And Cougars have another possession underneath.
Good strong rebound by Ben there.
Marins gets it into Long. Long looking for another move, kicks it out to Adam Stanton, driving into the paint. Finger roll is good. And the Cougars lead by 19.
Good strong finish by Adam.
Cougars in the trapping press. Linky all the way across. Wild pass. Max Long's able to steal. Looks ahead for Schumacher. Schumacher, tough shot off the glass, can't get it to go, but draws the foul and will go to the line for two. Schumacher rims around on the first. Good on the second, 35-15, back to a 20-point lead for the Cougars. Abbott in the backcourt, Marin tightly defending. Up to Solinki, all the way across for Maine, he wants the quick three. An air ball as Marins is able to save it, but stepped on the line. Let's see if we can see that on replay. As Marins is trying to toe tip the line there, and he just gets the corner of his foot on the line. All right, inbound Abbott finds Maine on the cut. Nolan Stanton goes up strong, but commits the foul. And Abbott will go to the line for two free throws.
That'll be his second foul.
Maine good on the first. Makes both free throws, back to an 18-point lead. Nolan Stanton down the left side. Into the corner for Schumacher, open for three. Shot fake, pulls up from 15. Max Long gets the offensive rebound, back out to Marins. Marins tries to find Stanton on the cut. Can't handle the pass. Parrish out in transition. With the left too strong, knocked out of bounds, and will stay Lions ball. 5 subs coming in the game for the Cougars. Cannon Miller, Broderick Burns, Barrett Bowen, Caleb Dennis, and Connor Perry.
Back to Platoon subbing here in the third.
Abbott inbounding. Gets it into Maine. Up top to Parrish. 1:40 in the third. Cougars by 18. Maine on the right side. Tries to find Abbott on the cut. Dennis is there to deflect it away. Miller comes away with a steal. Out ahead on the left. Up top to Burns. Burns wants Perry on the right side. Over to Perry on the wing. To Bone at the top of the key. Looks for Burns open on the left. Burns baseline drive. Draws the foul on the floor. And Cougars will have it underneath. First foul on number 12, Parrish. Cannon Miller inbound to Dennis. Dennis steps through, puts the dribble down, and puts the basket in.
Nice power drop step there with the dribble.
Back to a 20-point lead for the Cougars. 1:04 left in the third quarter. Selinki back up top to Parrish. Selinki holds. Maine looks inside, finds Abbott. Abbott jump stop through, draws the contact, no foul, but gets the finish.
Yeah, good finish.
Cougars quickly out, Burns into the paint, and offensive foul called on Burns. As Parrish, looked like Parrish was late, but let's take a look here.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Abbott in the backcourt. Burns deflects, out of bounds. Will stay Lions ball. 26 seconds left in the third. 18-point lead for the Cougars. Into the backcourt to Maine. Abbott into the corner. Wade back up top for Maine. Inside to Parrish. Parrish rises up, gets his own rebound. Back to Maine for three. And he hit it. 5 seconds remaining. Burns over to Dennis. To Perry. 2 seconds. Miller, long three at the buzzer. And no good. 15-point lead going into the fourth for the Cougars.
Yeah, I got to continue to stay aware of the clock there. Like number 20, that's Maine, isn't it? Yeah, he's their points leader.
Yeah, Cougars really didn't have the point production in that quarter that they had in the second, but still holding a 15-point lead. Thank you, Hope City, for sponsoring tonight's game. We are ready for the fourth quarter. 8 minutes on the clock. Cougars have the arrow. Miller, Burns, Perry, Bowen, and Hunter Marsh in the game for the Cougars. Perry at the top, over to Miller on the left wing, has baseline. loses his balance. Connor Perry comes in with the offensive rebound and can't get it to fall. Parrish rips down the board for the Lions. Abbott across the timeline to Grant. Into the corner for Wade. Wade all the way across for Maine. He wants the three off the front of the rim. And Marsh gets the rebound to Bowen to Burns and out to Bowen and tie up on the floor. Jump ball back to the Lions. The Burns-Barrett-Bowen combination is tongue-tying me every time. All right, full court press by the Cougars. Grant up ahead to Abbott. Abbott with a left bounce pass into Maine. Maine's able to gather it. Burns pulls down the tough rebound. Out to Miller. Cannon Miller on the right side. Slows it up. Back to Burns. Abbott goes for the steal. Burns able to regather. Dribble in. Swiped away. Burns loose ball and Wade able to steal. Out to Abbott in transition. Abbott took 4 steps and puts it in.
I don't think he ever dribbled, did he?
13-point lead now for the Cougars. Over to Bowen, into the short corner for Marsh. Marsh holding, has the count going, gets it to Burns. Burns through traffic, tough shot, and puts it in. Back to 15. Abbott picks up the dribble, gets it across to Grant. Over to Maine. Maine into the paint to Wade in the short corner, gets it back to Abbott. Abbott wants the three-pointer, too strong. Burns pulls down another rebound, quickly out to Bowen. Abbott swipes it away from behind or from the side. Up ahead to Parrish, and Parrish puts it in for the easy cherry pick and bucket. That's enough to send Schumacher and the Stanton brothers to the line. And what's the timeout? Oh, Parrish. Parrish was injured on that play. I think he was actually injured on the initial rebound, so that's why he was still under the basket. All right, Perry. Let's see, do we have 3 subs come in? Perry, Burns, and Bowen sub out. Miller gets it into Adam Stanton. Stanton being tightly defended. Dribble handoff to Miller. Over to Schumacher. 5:30 to play. Stanton at the top of the key. Kicks it to his brother Nolan. Nolan into the corner for Marsh. Back to Nolan. Stanton at the elbow. Adam Stanton back dribbles to reset. Over to Ben Schumacher on the right side. To Miller at the top. Thought about the 3. Gets it back to Schumacher. Miller open for 3. Too strong. Rebound pulled down by Abbott. Abbott looking ahead. Gets it to Maine. Looks baseline. Marsh there to defend. Loose ball rebound. Wade comes away with it. Out to Slinky.
Yeah, Cougars got to hold them to 1 shot.
Abbott into the corner for Maine. Wants the 3. Air ball backside, and Wade gets called for the foul on the backside rebound.
Yeah, pushing in from behind on that. Adam did a good job boxing out and keeping his ground.
Parrish checking back in the game as Grant subs out. 13-point lead for the Cougars. Lions now pressing. Adam Stanton gets it into Nolan. Nolan Stanton picks up the dribble, gets it to Adam. Parrish tightly defending. Nolan Stanton bounce pass into Adam Stanton at the top. Tries to find Stanton down low, and Stanton lost his feet. I couldn't really tell what happened there.
Yeah, I couldn't see it either.
Whoops, let's look for that. And timeout by the Lions. Let's find that replay to see if we can tell what happened on that play as Nolan flashes through. Yeah, Maine trips him. And nobody saw it. We didn't see it either, but you can see as Stanton comes through, Maine sticks his foot out and trips him.
Oh, yeah. Not a lot of fouls called. There's been a lot of contact.
All right, so that timeout by Baxter leaves them with 1 timeout remaining.
Ken's had a good game. He's at 15 points, leading all scores.
All right, after the timeout, Cougars in a full court press as the Lions inbound. Maine puts down the dribble, gets it up to Abbott. Abbott wants the three-pointer from the left wing. Air ball as Wade's able to save it, but Adam Stanton's right there to receive. Tough pass up to Nolan Stanton, deflected by Maine. And
ooh, I thought it touched Nolan last.
yeah, I thought it might have also, but they're going to give it to the Cougars.
I think Nolan knows it touched him last.
Adam Stanton inbounding. Moving screen called on
Hunter Marsh.
Marsh. Take a look at this on replay as Marsh comes to set this screen and just pushes into him.
Yeah.
All right, Cougars holding to a 13-point lead. Abbott across the timeline. Miller comes up to pressure ball. All the way across for Saluki. Abbott may have got away with steps. Salinki. Abbott into the corner for Maine. Back up top to Abbott. Jump stop through, rises up. Marsh there sticks a hand on the ball.
Yeah, good job
and stolen away.
Marsh just holding his ground.
Nolan Stanton all the way across for Schumacher for 3. Rims around. Adam Stanton pulls down the offensive rebound. And out of bounds will stay Cougars ball. Burns checking in as Cannon Miller takes a break. Burns doing the inbound for the Cougars. Gets it into Adam Stanton. Stanton turns into the paint. Tough shot off the back of the rim. Loose ball. Marsh is able to get there to it. Nolan Stanton for 3. Ben Schumacher comes in for the rebound. All the way across to Burns. Maine tightly defending. Pokes away from behind and will stay Cougars ball.
See what they call here. Marsh
Stanton.
can hopefully not draw the foul.
Stanton all the way across to Nolan. And Parrish gets called for the hand check.
Which I assume that was kind of semi-intentional, or otherwise it wasn't a very good defensive play.
Yeah, there's 3:16 left to play, and the Lions only have 2 fouls. Now that I didn't get that on camera. Maine went for the steal. Burns is able to rip it away. Nolan Stanton to Adam Stanton from the elbow, and a big basket for the Cougars. 41-26, back to a 15-point lead. Maine gets the dribble down into the paint. Bounce pass to Wade, but Adam Stanton's there to steal. Quickly out to Burns. Burns steps through and finishes at the basket, back to 17 points. Abbott
In trouble.
looking for an option. Finds Wade, bounce pass into Maine. And Marsh comes underneath him, gets called for the foul.
That's definitely the chuck pass.
Yeah.
The hard, when you start at your knee and go all the way over your shoulder, that's the chuck pass.
All right, Maine at the line for 2 free throws. Good on the first. Max Long checking in for Hunter Marsh.
Maine still leading their scores with 10.
Maine makes both free throws. Number 1, Ethan McCoy checking in the game as Maine gets a breather. McCoy's first appearance of the game was the point guard for the JV team. Ball into Schumacher across the timeline. Over to Burns at the top. Parrish tightly defending. Burns kicks it to Schumacher on the left wing. Over to Burns. And Parrish gets called for another hand check.
It'll be up at the somewhere around the 28-foot line.
Stanton gets it into Long. Wade defending from behind. Burns on the cut. And Burns puts it in. Nice find by Long.
Yeah, great
Burns
job.
with the finish.
Long did a nice job of boxing so he could just make the pass to him when they couldn't find an outlet.
Abbott breaks it through to Grant. Grant dribbles through the double, and foul called on Burns. Didn't actually see that, but
One of the weakest reach-in calls we've had.
Lions inbound. Abbott puts the dribble down. Burns and Schumacher there to trap. Over to McCoy at the top. One more to Grant, looking to go baseline. Long steps
Nice job
in.
by-
Bounce pass stolen away by Stanton. Nolan Stanton out to Burns. Burns back to Stanton for 3. Off the front of the rim, and
Shoot. Ben did a good job playing defense.
take a look at what happened here.
Max just kind of moved right through him.
All right, just a minute 46 left. The Lions have decided to sub out their starters and put in the JV squad to get them some minutes. McCoy brings it up for the Lions. Number 31 is Brule. Back to McCoy. Brule for 3. Paxson and Stanton go for the rebound. Burns pulls it down. Out to Schumacher. Schumacher wants baseline. Back up top to Nolan Stanton for 3. And bounces around. Adam Stanton gets a hand on it. Schumacher is able to save it. But out to Brule.
It's a good hustle by Schumacher.
McCoy into the front court. Over to Brule inside. Long went for the steal. Paxton's able to receive it. Off the glass and in. Less than a minute to play. Stanton over to Adam for 3. Rebound pulled down by Paxson. McCoy to Brule. Ball inside to Paxson. Stolen away by Stanton, actually deflected by Stanton. Schumacher gets a hand on it. Long gets on the floor. Ball's loose. Adam Stanton comes to it. Out to Nolan Stanton. Stanton steps through. And offensive foul called on Nolan Stanton.
Wow. They're being interesting with their offensive calls. I guess you can slide in at the last minute on both the offensive calls we've seen. Because he was going to Euro step around him, and he slid right in front of him.
Yeah, he stepped right into his path, but
yeah.
Brule wants the three-pointer. Off the side of the rim, Schumacher pulls down the board, and that should do it. 8 seconds remaining. All right, that's a final. Cougars 45, Lions 30. Kind of a fits and starts type of game. But a huge second quarter from the Cougars to really do enough to seal it.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see kind of what we settle into. It's nice to get all these players in, but it also really hurts our rhythm in the first quarter, seems like, when we sub with like 2 minutes into the game. The first 5 don't really ever get a rhythm, and then we continually sub, and it seems like our first quarters have been really pitiful.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll take a second half recap here to finish out the night. Nice 5-hour night here at the complex. We'll get the privilege of enjoying one of those again on Friday night, where we'll be at Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond, it'll be a long night.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Again, we'll be back here on YouTube on Friday at Diamond. We have JV boys playing first, and then JV girls, varsity girls, and the nightcap will be the varsity boys again. Diamond has struggled so far this year. I don't know if they've got things together yet, but they've been struggling to put up many points.
Yeah, they look really inconsistent, and they look like they've lost to some teams that I wouldn't have thought they would lose to. But it's one of those things, don't know what we've got, what kind of look we've got. Last year there were some players I thought that would go out, and they didn't go out, and so it seemed like it affected their team. And I heard there was going to be some players that were going to come back out this year that were juniors, but maybe they didn't. I know some of them, one of them got injured kind of in football last year, so then he sat out. So it'll be really interesting. There's kind of some interesting dynamics that go on down at Diamond. I know last year in baseball, before districts, there was like 3 or 4 kids that quit baseball that were some of their better players. And so I know that there's some tension there, and some of the kids seem like it's hard to tell whether or not they're going to show up or actually play. So, because like I said, they've got some good athletes. But last year there was a couple of them that didn't play basketball that I thought for sure had played forever and didn't. So,
All right, well, we'll send you through the second half recap as we close out, and we'll be back Friday for the matchup versus Diamond.
somebody left their glasses.